This is Mike Walters with Mark Mersman, and moments ago we were covering the dangers of co-signing on certain types of notes and loans, whether it be with family members or even strangers for that matter. And we're also soon going to be getting into some of the big issues that you're going to want to tackle before the end of 2012 and then going into 2013, especially as it relates to your taxes, to your financial plans, and to your retirement plans. And this is a perfect time to remind people that at this stage of the game in a calendar year, it's really important that you are sitting down with professionals. I would encourage you take advantage of the Financial HQ network advisors. They're there for your assistance. You can reach out and arrange for a meeting with those folks in your given area at 888-888-9572. Again, that number is 888-888-9572. You can also go through the website at financialhq.com. But especially during this time of year, it's really important to be stepping alongside of a financial professional and having them help you tackle some of the things that we'll be discussing here in moments on the show. And at the same time, to bring this back in, as we were discussing here, Mark, there are not only dangers on co-signing, but there are equal, if not greater, dangers on joint account ownership, which I think is a very prevalent planning idea that people think is accomplishing things in manners, however, that they don't understand the risks that are really involved with that, and it can be quite risky.
Unfortunately, there's some misguided advice, and it's usually handled at the bank level from the standpoint of mom, dad go into a bank account, and they'll also add their child or one of their children onto the bank title, thinking that, hey, if something were to happen, they can help me with my finances, they can write the mortgage, et cetera, et cetera. The dangers there are, number one, if you have more than one child, and mom and dad pass or mom passes and the other child's on it, that's that child's money, and now you've effectively disinherited your other children.
Right. When you have a joint account status, every account holder is considered to have 100% ownership of that account.
That's right. The other dangers are in the event that, from a mom and dad perspective, in the event that the child is involved in some sort of a lawsuit, if there was a terrible tragedy, something that happened, that money now is effectively the child's 100% and, can be garnered and gone after. A big one in today's society is divorce. If your child goes through a divorce, all that money that's in your account, mom and dad.
Yeah, it's actually your account most likely, not the child's, at least mentally speaking.
But from a divorce court standpoint, they're going to look at that, and that can get brought into, the assets of, your son and or daughter and their spouse. So, those are some of the challenges that you really want to think through before you just haphazardly put your child on an account. But Mike,
in a working environment, though, let's just add to that. In a working environment, if you have that need, so maybe if you are older and you need a child to have access to some money to cover certain expenses or pay some bills or do some shopping, whatever the case might be, then you have to set yourself up so that it's just kind of a little slush fund account that you've set aside for these things, that you periodically push some money into it from another account that is entirely in your name. So if in a real life circumstance you need somebody to have access to an account of yours, just do it wisely. Do it in a manner where they're maybe on one checking account and you just put a few $100s a week or a month into it, but you retain the real asset elsewhere.
That's right. The other option, and we aren't here to practice law, but the other option would be to consider a power of attorney. If your true intent is to go the direction of, in the event that I'm incapacitated and I need help or assistance, that's going to be the document that's going to be better served for you from an estate planning.
Which makes a tremendous amount of sense.
Absolutely. Let's go into our to-do list, Mike, and we're going to jump through here on America's Financial Headquarters a handful of items that you may want to check off before year-end 2012. The first is making a charitable gift before New Year's Day.
Yes, if you're charitably inclined, which many of the listeners are, I would suggest that you you move forward and look at your charity a little differently than maybe you have in the past. The normal train of thought is get that charitable gift in before year end. And that still holds true this year, because if you want to get those deductions into this calendar year, you're going to want to make those gifts before December 31st. However, we're in a unique perspective today with the fiscal cliff discussions we've had previously on the show,
Sure.
and the fact that that taxes are going to go up on income tax level. So some people will argue, rightfully so, that a deduction next year is worth more than a deduction this year.
Sure.
So there are two trains of thought here, and you have to decide, I guess, what's the most compelling for you. One is get the deduction in, get the charitable contribution in this year, so I get the deduction this year. The other is maybe I send the charitable gift on January 1st or 2nd so that the charity still gets the money in essentially the time frame they're hoping to, but your deduction now pushes into 2013, and in a higher income tax bracket, which we fully anticipate for 2013, that deduction now carries more weight. It has more benefit.
That's right. And one of the tools that a lot of the HQ network advisors will work with their clients on is a donor advised fund. It's a very effective charitable giving tool. If you want more information on donor advised funds, I encourage you to go to financialhq.com. There is a special report that we've put together that you can download and get from the website. Another item, Mike, would be to contribute more to your retirement plan at year end here.
Yes, and again, if it's your retirement plan, you're doing that in a tax-qualified basis, and you can essentially reduce your income tax environment by getting those contributions in. Obviously, you're doing yourself a favor by getting more money into those plans. Also, though, you need to recall that your IRA will allow you to get that money in up till April 15th. So you kind of have a little bit of an escape clause, if you will. If you don't get the contributions in, or maybe you're not prepared to make a contribution into everything right now, well, go ahead and fund your 401k or whatever else as much as you can right now, and then you still have until April 15th to get those dollars into your IRA account.
That's exactly right. Now, another one that we'll touch on briefly is if you are a business owner, you may wish to consider making a capital purchase this year. And so essentially, if you buy assets for your business that ultimately have a useful life of more than 1 year, such as a truck, a computer, furniture, that sort of thing, those purchases are commonly characterized as capital expenses. And so
basically, it would be any significant purchase that has a lifetime of more than a year.
That's right. And so the point of maybe considering it at the end of the year is that first year bonus depreciation is set at 50% for most of these types of purchases in 2012. The way it looks now all of this is subject to change. The 2013 deductions may be a little bit less generous.
Exactly. So Mark and I have been discussing some of the things you want to be considering before you wrap up this 2012 tax year. I would encourage you, for assistance in this, to take advantage of the free reports that are available out at financialhq.com. You can visit the website and download, in particular, one report called the Taxpayer Awareness Guide. You will get that for the year 2012, which will detail all the things you need to know between now and the end of the year. But then we will come out with a new edition in 2013, so you'll want to mark your calendar that sometime beginning after January, go in there and download the new version of the Taxpayer Awareness Guide available on financialhq.com.
Speaking of 2013, Mike, another big consideration that the Financial HQ Network advisors have been working with their clients on has been the Roth conversion choice. For those of you that have ever considered a Roth conversion, or thought about it, or heard about it, or even if you haven't, now is the time to do the analysis on that. In the main rationale for doing so would be you can gain, you can take and pay the taxes on 2012 rates, which right now are slated to look a little bit lower and a little bit better than in 2013. And actually, I had gotten an email from a listener a while back who had really appreciated the advice. He wasn't aware that you could basically break up your Roth conversion options, meaning you don't have to do it all in one lump sum. You can break that up to kind of ease your tax burden along the way. If you see the true benefits and you've done the analysis on the Roth conversion, you can certainly break that up and still get the long-term benefits of Roth conversion.
We're breaking this down for you, all the things that you need to address before the end of the tax year 2012, but it is complex stuff, and I encourage you, reach out and take advantage of the Financial HQ Network advisors. They will sit down with you and identify exactly what these answers and solutions are for your own personal circumstances. You can take care of that by dialing 888-888-9572. That's 888-888-9572.